nation where there was some of our native tribes who actually went up in trees and started connecting these skywalkers together and all their huts, and they make a lot of sense. And there's a whole bunch of shit just going on through my mind on other shit that I knew that I didn't put together about these people living up in these trees.
And what we have been told or led to believe by mainstream media has been only there to confuse us, mislead us, and turn us on one another. So if we're going to ever get to a point of liberation, of freedom from all of this oppression, one thing we're going to have to do is get past jumping to assault each other openly and in public without cause, and no one's doing that to us. So what happens in the community is people begin to speak on things because it look a certain way. But if you understood the divide and conquer mechanism and how it works, you would know that the whole system is set up to turn us against each other. And when you start to mix the rules of the street with investigative reporting, you can ask the wrong questions that can get somebody severely hurt. And that's what made me bring up James Prince, because there was a situation similar to what young Pharaoh's doing with the nation in Farrakhan. He's not really understanding what he's doing, so I'm going to touch on some of it. But until I talk to certain people, I can't openly disclose a lot of information that I will be able to once I made those ends connect. So where we finna go with this is we're going to start with what happened with the J. Prince scenario. All right. A few months back, James Prince released a tweet when one of his people was robbed in New York. And he told the people in Brooklyn, or he asked them rather, if any of them knew who this was, if this was their people, and to sit down with him or, check on it so that they can get an understanding. And I heard several different YouTube channels ask if James Prince was snitching by putting that tweet out. So everybody in the streets, I'm not talking about music industry types, I'm not talking about businessmen, I'm talking about anyone who is in the streets that deal with day-to-day street life. They will understand that what J. Prince done was necessary. He had to address it publicly because the gentleman that did the robbery put it on social media publicly. If he doesn't say anything publicly about it and give the people who are the OGs in that area the opportunity to clean it up, then James Prince would not be following the rules. So what was James Prince doing? In the tweet, he basically told New York, specifically Brooklyn, where the guys that was from, that committed the act, and posted it on social media. Now, nobody had never heard of James Prince going out public and openly addressing the issues that he was dealing with in the streets. He never talked street business publicly. So why would he come out after never revealing himself publicly and all of a sudden release a tweet addressing openly street matters publicly? The reason for that is this. James Prince know the rules of the street. All right? So he know that as soon as they made that public, he obligated now to address it publicly. And y'all got to pay attention because this is how the reporters can get somebody hurt. Now, the reporter's presumption was that he might be snitching by putting out that tweet, which is nothing further from the truth. You can't snitch on somebody that told on themselves, first of all. Second of all, the video that the guys put up of them taking the Rap-A-Lot chain from this guy, cutting this guy's face up, was a direct humiliation on an OG in any hood. So you can't do that to an OG nowhere. Now, everybody in the streets know that James Prince is known for following what they call the code of respect. So, following the code of respect, he have to address this matter, and he have to do it publicly because these boys put this stuff into the social media in a public forum. So, James Prince addressed it publicly. So, before I go any further, I'm going to say hi to the family up in here, checking me out, trying to get this stuff situated where we can stop going at each other's head and we can clean up this mess that they laid down in Babylon on this divide and conquer. So I'm going to say for all of y'all that's here now, greetings. I'm glad y'all here. I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of different greetings from everybody because they already know I speak. I'm from the hood, I'm from the block. I'll say, what's up? What's up? That's everybody. That's the Muslim, Assalamu alaikum, and the Rahubats. And that's all that in the what's up. So if y'all get offended because I didn't use your term of address, then I can't control that. But I can say what's up, how y'all doing, and much love. So when we get back to this situation, now what did the media types do? They begin to put pressure on OGs in the street to come out and make statements. Nobody was ever supposed to issue a tweet, a verbal response, or an interview dealing with the tweet from James Prince. Because he had to put it out there publicly, they was just supposed to go handle their business, check their family, make sure that they was clean, and leave it alone. Now, if somebody found out it was in their family, they were supposed to address it publicly. That matter that was done in Brooklyn where the boy got robbed for the Rap-A-Lot chain came out of my clique, and we ain't know nothing about it. But it's straight now. We took care of that. That's how they were supposed to handle it. Whereas that's why he said we have to get an understanding. He ain't threatened nobody. He didn't say nobody did anything other than whatever is going on up there, those I respect, and he hashtagged them all. But none of them was supposed to openly and publicly respond if they following the code of the street. They was just supposed to go check their camps. Individuals check their camps. Now, their response was, if anything, at most, a phone call to James Prince, hey, this is my son, the general, my camp clean, baby, I'll holler at you later. That's the end of the conversation. It wasn't supposed to be a whole drug out thing. And these reporters, by forcing people like Fat Joe to make a verbal response by continuously asking them about it, is putting his life in danger. It's not putting his life in danger from Jay Prince. It's putting his life in danger from OGs from his area. Because they already know the rules, and they're going by the rules. And this is how we end up in this situation, which is going to take me to the young Pharaoh situation next. Because if we follow the rules, we won't have these issues. And people always got something to say about somebody else's business without really understanding what it is that they're addressing. So the street rules become imperative to understand in social media and investigative reporting. Because you're not supposed to ask people from the street about street things so you can put it out in the public domain and get somebody hurt. So y'all got to understand this. You can seriously have a person's life snatched from them by putting the wrong stuff on social media and putting the wrong stuff in an investigative report in a documentary. Now, I did a video a couple months ago, about a month and a half ago, about Tupac. I had to take the video down because it put somebody's life in danger. And later on, once I was able to know that that person was secured, I was given permission to put it back up. So I posted it back up with an explanation. So what did young Pharaoh do to prompt me to give this address? Now, I hope somebody tagged him on the video that I was going to be coming on here because I want him to see this. I am very, very proud of young Pharaoh to begin with for his courage and for his determination to deliver what he perceived as the truth against all odds, because he don't even understand the odds he's facing when he's addressing certain issue, or he have the courage to withstand the backlash of those odds. And his delivery style remind me of me when I was his age. You know, it's raw, it's untempered, and it's also lack the depth that his elders around him should be feeding him, unless they surface dwellers. Because when you surface dwelling, you can't get to the bottom of anything. And so young Pharaoh did 2 speeches. The first one, he said that Farrakhan was clout chasing at the Nipsey Hussle send-off ceremony. He don't know what he's talking about, because he do not understand that this is bigger than that. Ceremony was more than just what you would call in modern America a funeral. That wasn't just a funeral. And I'm not going to go too much into that right now, because I touched on it in the Tupac video. The second thing that young Pharaoh did was a documentary that came out that day or two ago called Malcolm X Revenge. Now, I'm going to tell everybody, after I talk to the ministers in the nation, the real deal about what happened with Malcolm. But before I can go public with that, I absolutely have to tell Fruit members first. Now, mind you, I'm not in the Nation of Islam as a standing member. I've studied their doctrine, but I'm not a member of the Nation of Islam. I have been called to the ranks of the righteous, so I have to address anything that can cause us a setback in the transition of power from what we were to what we are about to become. And so, why would I address young Pharaoh? It's because I like young Pharaoh. I genuinely like the brother, and I like the methods, and I got a lot of research that I would like to share with him in order to make sure that he walked flawlessly along his path, because he got the skills to pay the bills. He know how to deliver the information, but he's not getting depth information. He's getting the surface dwelling, divide and conquer information. He's not getting the unity doctrine. Whoever his elders are, they need to go back to the drawing board, because if they knew how to read the signs and they knew what they're supposed to be doing, then they would be teaching him the unity doctrine. They would know, if they was truly raised in past masters as they claim to be, they would know. And they would not be sending Pharaoh out here to attack somebody without knowing some of the secrets of secrets, so to speak. And when I say secrets of secrets, the brothers in the lodge, in the shrine, the Templars, they all know what I'm talking about. But many of the lay person, the average person that get up in the morning and go work a job 9 to 5, pay their bills, and don't worry about what's going on in the world, they have no clue. We are living in what you call a bifurcated world. Our world is broke up into 2 parts, the spiritual world and the physical world. And so what we see with the naked physical eye is not necessarily the spiritual essence behind it, or the spiritual catalyst or motivator. In saying that, the Malcolm X situation is not what we think it is. Now, I got to say this about what young Pharaoh, because I listened intently. On the surface, everything that he said is correct on the surface. Everything he said correct on the surface. But he don't understand the motivators. He don't understand the fact that we coming out of a redemption process for those who allowed some atrocities to take place on earth that allowed us to be persecuted as we persecuted others for a prolonged period of time, much longer than 400 years that we've been suffering. And so, because Pharaoh's elders are not getting him the correct information to effectively deal with this situation, deal with this matter, I'm offering. So anybody know young Pharaoh, put him on my page. He inboxed me one time. I give him my number, and he'll have all of the information I got access to, and I give him all the references he need in order for him to stop launching this futile attack against Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. Because when he see what's coming next, his mouth gonna hit the floor. as will most people, because they think they know, but they don't. Now, so this goes to Pharaoh, Polite, Crumb, all of them Setis, Suit and Seti, Sarah Seti, the Flat Earthers, the Hollow Earthers. We cannot continue to bicker and fight each other and claim we are trying to get from under an oppression. As long as we bickering and fighting each other and we talking about we trying to get from under this oppression, this is the changing of the guard. And there's only two things required. And that's to respect the women and to stop fighting each other. That's it. Respect the women, follow the unity doctrine. If you don't know how to source the information, it's real easy, but I will show you if you haven't done it yet. And that's anybody who want to get out from under this misery. As Malcolm said, I'm willing to work with anybody that's sick of this miserable condition on earth. So, the unity doctrine ties into the secret societies. It ties into the secret societies in the black community. It ties into the Prince Hall Masons. It ties into the Shriners. It ties into all of the Templars. All of this goes back to the unity doctrine, being that if you want to, okay, the prophecies say it. Now, if it's a prophecy, there's a series of signs in place to read a prophecy. So if the prophecy is put in place, that means that prophecy is revealing what they call a divine plan. In other words, what's a prophecy to the human is God's plan. God planned it. That means that he got an end date. He got a beginning date. And he got all of the filler in the middle. So if you don't know the signs, you cannot read the message that God gave us. And if you can't read the message, then you should be quiet until you are either instructed in the proper discernment of the prophecy and the signs and how they apply. So for years, I wouldn't talk publicly about any of this. I felt like as long as these brothers want to continue to debate and bicker with each other, there is no reason for me to participate in the insanity of divide and conquer. That's the main obstacle to our progress. There's two obstacles to the progress of liberation of earth. I ain't talking about just the black people, and I ain't talking about just the Hispanic people, and I ain't talking about just the Asian people, and I ain't talking about just people that say they Israel. I'm talking about the entire 6 septillion ton of earth. The whole population, the 8.3 billion, is only two obstacles to liberation and prosperity. And those two obstacles is divide and conquer, is the first obstacle. And the second obstacle is pure, unadulterated, selfish greed. Everybody chasing this dollar like this is the end all, the be all. The dollar is not it. It's the distraction. The dollar is the mark. It is the mark of a man. If you look on every bill, there's a face of a dead president. It's the mark. It's just a mark, but it's not the beast. The one who controls the money, the one behind the dollar is the beast. And everybody going to say, well, it's the Jews. No, they work for somebody. They all work for somebody till you get to the last person. You got to trace the dollar to the last. There's no higher person that you can trace this dollar to. That's when you know that you found the Pope. Because the Pope is the one who issued the order, what they call the white man's burden, to enslave Africans and sack Africa against the divine law. Mind you, Africa was off limits for this cleanup of this Babylonian bull smack. Africa was sacked against the orders of the Creator, of the King of the gods, the Most High. Africa was not supposed to be touched, but they did it anyway. We over here set up 13 colonies. We allowed Europe to set up 13 colonies for this stuff. These 13 colonies was given land grants in order to be able to survive. These people never had, those colonist people, the people that were those colonists, came from various parts of Europe, but they never had an empire or civilization. They didn't have a mark in the history books. They had to have that for the age to close. Everybody has to have the opportunity to have ruled this planet at one time before we move into a fifth dimensional framework. But the average person is too naive. See, we get these schools of thought. What is a school of thought? It's a way that you look at the truth. Everybody don't look at it the same. So when you go to the Middle East, when you go to the Middle East, you include in the liberation and spiritual doctrine the culture of Arabs. and call it Islam. That's not Islam. That's Arab culture and Islam. That's why the Nation of Islam look different. They not Arabs. Farrakhan has said that I don't know how many times. We not Arabs. We over here. We dress how we dress because our founder gave us this because we were not Arabs. But when Siraj Wahaj, Bilal Phillips, and Wharfdeen Muhammad all go put on these jalabiyas, then y'all think they more Muslim because they put on a gown. That don't make you more Muslim because you know how to cross dress now. That's not practical to walk around with a jalabiyah in New York and some sandals in the wintertime. That's not practical. No righteous guy gonna tell you to do something that damn dumb. I want you to wear a jalabiyah and some sandals. But in the Middle East, they don't wear fur coats. Right? They don't wear fur coats in the Middle East. It's too hot. But over here, you might need a fur coat because it's too cold. So, for young Pharaoh to understand this, I gotta say this. I'm gonna give you all of the answers. But first, I have to talk to the ministers in the nation first. They have to have first right of defense for the minister. They have to have the first right to defend the minister against the allegations. And I have been given the information. This is the information that, because these are the grievances I personally had with Farrakhan, and before I would be willing to offer my hand and work with him, these issues had to be cleared up. My issue was Khalid Muhammad. Yeah, they cleared it up with the facts. I can tell you everything what went wrong with that situation. With Malcolm was the biggest hurdle. I turned Farrakhan down, working with Farrakhan down we could have been doing this 5 years ago. But I was resistant to Farrakhan and working with Farrakhan because of Malcolm. And so in the sacred halls, they brought me Malcolm. And Malcolm thought it was a joke to accuse Farrakhan in his low level of ranking with having an instrumental role in his assassination when he had no juice. And that's the most I can say about that at this point. Now, the next thing is this. Young Pharaoh, you have a powerful voice for the youth and a powerful voice for our people. You have two ways that you can use that voice. You can use that voice to destroy us more with this divide and conquer bullshit. Or you can find some facts and you can get to know some people personally as opposed to attacking them. You can't attack everybody because you'd have no alliances. You have no alliances. You can never break this oppression without making alliances. The Bloods and the Crips got to join together. The Vice Lords and the GDs got to join together. It's written. This is all part of the redemption process. All of this stuff is written about. So as long as we can sit here and bulldog and fight and scratch out with each other, somebody else is spectating. Who is the spectator watching the fiasco of us going at each other's throat and going at each other's head? There's only two positions in this end game, and that's righteous and unrighteous. So we have to determine what side of the coin we're going to be on. We don't have to agree. This is what y'all not understanding. We don't have to agree word for word, letter for letter with anybody's doctrine. The only agreement we need to make is that we tired of the oppression, and whatever it takes to overcome it, I'm with whoever willing to overcome the oppression. When we understand that, we ain't got to fight each other no more, and the oppression will melt off of us. See, now, there's probably some white people watching this, but I'm talking to black people in this video specifically. Let me tell y'all this. White people is waiting on black people in America to say enough is enough without having to get ignorant. In other words, they waiting on us to come with a sensible description of the situation that can be verified through a historical timeline. And by doing this, they already know their position. That's all we have to do. Stop fighting each other, lay the timeline down, show it to them. It's right there in our face. We've been told history according to the oppressive regime of our oppressor. So, what do? Stop attacking each other. Start working with each other. Young Pharaoh, if you want to be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem, your first order of business should be do a powerful unity video with BNX or with Prince York or any of those guys that's out there trying to wake people up. Y'all have to come together. Y'all are the most powerful voices that's being most misused in our community right now. Y'all are the voice of the African American web, the black web, the Moorish web. Y'all our voice. And as long as y'all fighting each other and chopping each other's leadership down, all y'all doing is adding to the problem. Stop adding to the problem and add to the solution. Let's talk about Dr. Sebi, Nipsey, and Farrakhan dynamic. Young Pharaoh said that he was clout chasing Nipsey because he didn't support Dr. Sebi when Dr. Sebi came to him for some money. Now, there's a reason for that young Pharaoh has no clue. Farrakhan was barred by God, not by man. As was all of us that look like this, that's Grail Kings. We were barred from
Look who I got here. You always make me smile when I see
You always make me smile when I see you. Do you hear me?
that's what my boy Rashad called reflections.
Oh. I'm glad I caught you because, and I'm not going to hold you. I just wanted to, first of all, thank you so much. You are really heaven sent, for real. And second of all, how are we dealing as women and raising the matriarchy? How are we supposed to deal with these people that even look like us but aren't us, and moving them out? Right.
Y'all only have to weed out the women. Y'all gonna know them. All of them riding crotch bitches, no good. Y'all know them. They can't get along with no woman, no way.
They can't.
So y'all deal with the women. They can't get along with women.
So what if there's no men around though to deal with someone, especially in a workplace situation that affects kids? And that's the only reason I even care, is because and not to even throw this on to people who even watching, because it's a little bit of a trigger, but there was a young woman. We work with people who are 16 to 25-year-old high school dropouts. So this person was within that age range on the younger side. And longest of long story short, she was pregnant and didn't want to say anything because her uncle had been molesting her and she wasn't sure whose baby it was, her boyfriend's or hers. And she just didn't want to tell the boyfriend that she was pregnant, point blank period, but she wanted the baby, right? So around the person who's coordinating this, the person who's in charge is just like, oh, well, we can't really do anything. And I'm just like, what you mean we can't do anything? And they're like, well, she don't want to press charges. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. She don't want to press charges, but y'all all know. So y'all like this just like,
what city you in?
You know, I'm in Jersey, in Newark.
It's somebody there. I'll talk to you offline.
Okay.
It's somebody there that they're gonna send some sisters to talk to her to get her sister protection, and then they're gonna deal with the rest of the matter, how they deal with it.
Okay.
But the first thing they want to do is secure her. They want to get her out of this situation where you got some grown ass man molesting her. It's somebody in Newark. There's some goons in Newark. And if they find out, they're gonna, it won't be pretty for them.
All right.
There's some goons There's some goons. They on a side of Shakur watch when this shit flip, and she's merciless to molesters. So
For sure. Yeah.
if she get an order, half of Newark gonna be at that motherfucker door. I just got to tell you what's the 100. If she get a word, Asada Shakur get a word, half of Newark, half of motherfucking Orange, New Jersey, motherfucking from New York, Maryland, they gonna be there. Boston, Philly, they coming. Just to deal with one child, they will come from everywhere when she get an order. We trying to get the big fish out the pond first. Then we gonna deal with the little fish at home. Because that secret squirrel shit is what got these kids fucked up right now.
In the first place, exactly.
See, it had got to a point where it was so few good men that hadn't been murdered yet or lynched that the women cherished them so much that it allowed the children to be abused because the few good men they had, they didn't want him to correct the bad man because the slave catcher gonna come. Right? And when the slave catcher come, they're going to put him on the auction block and sell him into slavery. Slavery today is called prison. They don't want the good man correcting the bad man because the good man going to be the one doing time. So the women start keeping the shit a secret to try to protect the good man. Fuck that shit. That's what we here for. I go do my goddamn time. I go sit back with my feet up and read a couple more 1,000 books.
Niggas ain't like that. That's why.
That's why I ain't no nigga.
No, I'm just saying, you know, I know that. Said that's why I ain't no nigga. No, that shit pisses me off though, for real. But yeah. Yeah,
so the situation has to be handled in a particular way. So I have to tell you certain stuff offline. Not because I'm keeping it a secret. It's because the people who you have to contact, they can't be exposed right now, and they really deaf on them on women beaters and child molesters. They get treated like they would in old school penitentiary, especially when it's known to be true, because they've been using a lot of false allegations also to remove the good men and let the bad man stay. So people start accusing the good man of doing what the bad man doing, and then the good man doing time for nothing. He didn't do nothing. He's sitting up in jail rotten, while the rotten motherfuckers is sitting out here flourishing and making more rotten fruit. Because mama said one bad fruit spoiled a whole bunch.
I think that you're absolutely right. When you say the men got to handle it, it's just, you know, that part where it is something to consider, especially because the police being involved take it to a different level for everybody. But
you know, my philosophy is fuck the police.
Fuck the police, exactly.
I deal with that nigga myself before I call the police on him. I'm not calling the police on the motherfucker. That's why I be like, fuck all that old, because I was finna get into the shenanigans on some arguing across the internet. I thought about that shit. All them niggas gonna do is call the police.
All I think it's gonna do is call the police.
That's what they inadvertently trying to dry snitching, or as it is trying to call the police, but they trying to get a police evidence the police already got, and they just let them like, nigga, we already know that shit.
Next,
we just not figured that out. But this, so I was thinking about it. I was like, shit. Cause you know I'm the type of motherfucker, I pull up at a motherfucking spot. I don't got no problem with it. I don't give a fuck if I had to walk from here, from Detroit, Michigan to Phoenix, Arizona to pull up on a motherfucker. And it might take me a year to walk that distance. But I tell you what, when I get there, I'm gonna pull the fuck up. And I'm not coming to argue. I could have did that shit over the internet.
On the phone, right.
Right. So why would I do all that tongue wrestling if we ain't gonna fight? And if we gonna fight, why am I gonna do all that tongue wrestling? I might as well just go and fight. Right? Because all that tongue wrestling gonna lead to a fight.
Yeah.
Right.
At the end of the day.
And then if the tongue wrestling gonna lead to a fight, then I might as well not tongue wrestling. Cut out the middleman. Cut out the middleman.
So I got one more question. So for men or women who have love interests, relationships, I know we're not technically focusing on thinking with our P's, but we're talking past that. We're talking about growth and development in all types of relationships, even with people you have, you know, children with and stuff like that, and trying to just elevate, even if it's just, you know, a co-parenting type of thing. That, and women going through that as we raise the matriarchy. What is that looking like?
Okay. You kind of like paused for a minute and I kind of lost track of the question.
Summed it up, because men and women who are not together, but like still have to coexist with each other, not thinking with their P's.
Yeah. So most of them in the hostile relationships, in the matriarchy, when the two parents can't talk civilly to each other about the child and make competent civil decisions about the child, then both of the mothers have to come up with the solution between the family elders on both sides of the family. No side left out. But the individuals that can't get their act together, they ain't got no say. They too busy doing, you know, 3D shit. Thinking with their D's and their P's. Right? So as long as they doing that, but if, let's say one of them is trying to do the right thing and they fighting the other one, and the other one is just trying to be in control. When you present the matter to the elders on both sides, they come up with a solution that's in the interest of the child. They don't give a fuck about their parent, because sometimes the solution requires the grandparents to take the child from both parents, and both grandparents is going to agree because it's in the best interest of the child. And that's how come Big Mama house always got so many kids. And so many aunties always work there.
It was some women who, it was a young girl at my mom's job who gave her baby away to diapers, to Child Protective Services, but nobody knew. The dad didn't know and the grandmother didn't know, and it was because she didn't want to. It should just be crazy. And the shit that people deal with, like on a, just even hearing these stories, I don't, like I said, I don't be meaning to put this on people, but what you just said is like true. But
so in the case where the because it's gonna be, it's a lot of cases right now, like you said, where the men don't even know he got a child. Right? So in cases like that, her family still got to hold her accountable. Right? And take her ass on Maury, take all 725 of them niggas she fucked up till you find that baby daddy. And sometimes you gonna find the baby daddy out of that 725 niggas she was fucking, because he's somebody closely related to her that she don't want to tell on. Or she, you know, she already suspected, she might not know it, like the situation you mentioned earlier, she don't know if it's her boyfriends or uncles. That shouldn't even be a motherfucking question in her mind. Because that question exists, that means something is out of order. Right? So she'd probably take 50 innocent motherfuckers on Maury before she took her uncle. And everybody come back, he is not the father. He is not the, like, goddamn. And then we in our ignorance, not knowing what's going on, don't know why she can't figure out who her baby daddy is. Shit, it might be her goddamn daddy's baby. You never know.
Let's come in. Maybe some guys or something. I don't know. But we'll talk.
Yeah. A question, it's a good question popped up. It say, how do one seek and commit to a tribe if they have no living close relatives or kinfolks to reach out to? So those are called orphans on the land. And they pick, the tribe that picked them is the tribe they gonna pick. You will know them because those are the people you with every day. spending your time with, giving your love energy to, right? So one of the things we teach the children under a matriarchy is be careful who you give your love energy to. Because if you give it to the wrong person, it'll drain you. Because they only have bad intentions for you, but they held secret places in their dark hearts. But the ones that, when you are orphan, the ones who are that you draw to, you natural affinity to, the earth, well, humans pack animals. The frequency of the earth is going to move us to the pack that is ready to receive us as an orphan. So this is how you end up in South Central with an all-black Crips gang, and here you got a white boy in there. Where the fuck he come from? He got his one drop of blood, and nature sent him there. She sent him there to prove his one drop of blood qualification, because if the brothers in his neighborhood accept him, he ain't gonna betray that trust. That's that drop of blood that makes him not betray that trust. He don't give a fuck how many racists tell him he should be racist. It don't fit in his paradigm if he got that one drop of blood, because them is his brothers. He don't see their color. He only see his tribal colors. That's it. And this is how you know, and you gravitate towards your tribe, even when you don't know where your tribe at. You look around, and the people that give you love freely just because they feel like it, right? And they love you just because it's free. I can love you for free. Come on over here and get some of this love. Come to the barbecue. We love to see you there. You get to the barbecue, they treat you like you've been a special member of the family the whole time.
Like, hey, cousin.
Right? And, yeah, and you ain't never seen these people a day in your life. And they treating you like gold. Why they treating me so good? This your tribe, motherfucker. They glad to see you brought your ass back home. At least that's what they used to tell me when I get there. I know you folks, but you rock with the Stones, man. Come on, folks. You can rock with the Stones today.
So video was when you said you be flipping just to throw the algorithm off. I was like, he absolutely did this. Sometimes you really can't keep up. Oh, but when you do,
hey,
this shit crazy. This shit's crazy.
Look, the AI can't keep up. But them gangbangers and them thug niggas be matching every motherfucking flip. The same shit I be doing with the words is what they be doing with their hands. The same shit. I'm just using words. They just throwing up they set. I'm going in, I'm using the pattern, the speech pattern that's signatured after the subconscious mind organizing of information, so that I can connect as many dots as possible in your subconscious mind in order to polish the mirror that's called the black dot. Once that mirror is polished, you see clearly you don't need me no more. And I'm just trying to make it as many motherfuckers not need me as possible.
Fine. I hear you. I hear you. Now that's dope. And that's how I got into the whole human design, which kind of took me because I heard about it years ago, but then. Yeah,
that's the great arcana I was talking about in the last video.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, human design, the great arcana, the great work. The work of building Solomon's temple, the temple of man.
That's exactly what it is.
Right. And the temple of man houses Solomon, the soul of man.
Yeah, right.
Right. And Solomon has to go into the shrine in order to find out who is the Black Madonna so he can get his blessing from Big Mama.
So then
the Black Madonna is the next heir to be Grand Matriarch. See, they don't tell you the structure that it is the papal, the Roman Catholic Church is patterned off the civil priestesses.
Mm-hmm.
The only one supposed to wear black is the one who sits on the Queen of Heaven and Earth seat that they keep suspended in the air, because if a man sit in it, they automatically lose patriarchal rights all over the earth instantly. So before they make that mistake of letting the janitor come through mopping and sit his ass in it, they elevated that bitch 30 feet in the sky in the church. And you can look that shit up to see it yourself if you don't believe me. And the Pope chair sit under the motherfucker. And then they told us we was one nation under God. They never told us she wasn't in her seat right now. That's the great work. And that shit works great when it's in its proper motherfucking order. Put the power where the power goes. Shit run the way it's supposed to run. That's the simplest explanation to matriarchy.
It is.
Put the power where it's supposed to go, and it'll run the way it's supposed to run according to the laws of nature. We elephants in human form. Look at the elephant. Watch how they do. You don't even see a bull elephant until distress comes, and you don't even hear Big Mama, the Queen Matriarch, call his ass until you see that motherfucker busting out of nowhere. Where did this big burly motherfucker come from?
I'm charging from. You're right, actually.
Yeah, because she's sending him messages in the ground. He don't walk with the women and the children. Him and the mother and them young bull males are out on the periphery. They patrolling the outskirts of where the women is. And as soon as the matriarch pound on that motherfucking ground and get that low grunt and they feel that rumble in the earth, it ain't enough lions in the motherfucking jungle to stop the motherfucking bull elephants from seeing what Big Mama wants. And Angel Bay a bull elephant. But he is Chicago bull. A big ass moose. He's a bison that won't be moved. And he in the rut. That means he ready to go. And Boy Blue, the crooked